In just a moment, we'll ask you, if you would please, to stand with us as we're led in prayer by Brother Fred Shackelford from Ellendale Baptist Church, and ask you to remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father God, we are grateful for you. We're grateful for this city. We're grateful for the safety that we have here, the love that we have for each other here. Lord, we know that changes are ahead. Father, we pray for this upcoming election. We want your will to be done. And Lord, help us be satisfied with whatever your will is. We love you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Fred. Our future meetings include the Industrial Development Board, a special call meeting on September the 29th at 6:30 p.m., Family Assistance Commission, October the 3rd at 6 p.m., the Beer Board, October the 4th at 6 p.m., Planning Commission, October the 4th at 7 p.m., Bartlett Station Commission, October the 5th at 7:30 a.m., and Bartlett City Beautiful Commission, October the 6th at 6:30 p.m. Traditionally, we recognize any scouts that are with us that are working on merit badges. I didn't see any of them come in tonight, so I will go down for a proclamation. It's my honor tonight to be able to recognize the Bartlett City Schools trap team. Alderman Parsons asked me about this a few weeks ago, said, look, they did such a good job. Why don't we invite them down, be recognized in front of our elected officials and the people to be able to see them on YouTube replay. And so we're glad to do that. At this time, if I could have, first of all, the coaches, and if I could get Jenny Seidel to come, please. They all did really well, but particularly Jenny, I'm giving you a certificate of congratulations in honor of winning the second place individual award for your class and category at the National Trap Shooting Competition in Sparta, Illinois. Your outstanding effort reflects well upon yourself, your family, Bartlett City Schools, and the city of Bartlett. And I want to congratulate you for that. And now if I could get the rest of the trap team to come up, please. I'll just line up right there, please. I don't know that I've got everybody's name here, and I may mispronounce one or two, but Jordan Pesty, if you'll just raise your hand, Abigail Longo, Cole Lindsay, Jeannie Seidel, Maddie Boone, Hayden Russell, Graydon Duckworth, Felton Adams, Ben Pear, Case Hardison, Daniel Zengraf, and Kevin Mufas, is that right? Mufas, all right, thank you. And this proclamation is to all of you. Did I miss anybody, by the way? Okay. Whereas the Bartlett Trap Team, headed by Coach Chris Booker, competes with more than a dozen other teams in the Shelby County area is comprised of students from the Bartlett City Schools from grades 6 through 12. And whereas the team represented Bartlett City Schools well, as several members of the team won top honors in the recent state competition in Nashville and the national competition in Sparta, Illinois. And whereas trap shooting has been around since the late 18th century, where real birds were used for hunting practice, around the time of the American Civil War, clay birds were introduced. Trap shooting is one of three major disciplines of competitive clay pigeon shooting. It is a sport that is practiced worldwide, but it's most popular in the United States. And whereas the trap season runs from November through August and is regulated by the Shelby County Scholastic Clay Target Association, the Bartlett team, both new athletes and seasoned ones, brought home an array of awards and are much to be proud of. They believe that the success of the team is more important than individual honors, and they each work diligently toward that belief. Now, therefore, I, the mayor of the city of Bartlett, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim September the 27th, 2022 as Bartlett Trap Team Day in Bartlett, and commend the members of the team and their coaches for representing their school well. Their efforts shine in light of the attributes of ethical behavior, dignity, and respect, and I ask you to join me in congratulating them on their accomplishments.
Mayor, it's been a while since that many people stood in this building all at once clapping. y'all ought to be proud of yourself.
Yeah, I think they are going to excuse themselves. A couple of them may have homework, so we're glad to have them all, and I know that the aldermen and the citizens of this community are really, really proud of you. We'll let them get a chance to get out. Yeah, I think we had some really nervous folks tonight when they came in and saw this big crowd. We didn't know we had anything that controversial on the agenda tonight. All right. We'll now go to the official business of the day and call that into session. First up is the approval of minutes of September the 13th, 2022. Have a motion and a proper second. Any discussion on the minutes? If not, will you go to your device and cast your vote on the minutes from September the 13th? The minutes are approved unanimously. Tonight we have two public hearings. Individuals will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak either for or against the item, with a total of 20 minutes for each side. Madam Clerk, will you read the first resolution into the record, please?
Resolution 28-22, a resolution to approve a special use permit for Joyce's Gardens planned unit residential development located at 6778 Old Brownsville Road within the RS-15 single-family residential zoning districts.
Director Taylor.
The property owner, which is also the applicant, is here tonight requesting approval for the Joyce's Garden planned unit development single-family housing project. The property is located at 6778 Old Brownsville Road which is south of the Rockyford Place Plan Development and west of the Rockyford Subdivision, and it is within the RS-15 Residential Single Family Zoning District, and it is 27.1 acres of land. The applicant is proposing to subdivide the land into 42 single-family residential lots with common open spaces that will contain some detention areas to control the drainage. Lot sizes in this development will range from 8,775 square feet to 36,974 square feet. The new Brownsville extension will bisect the development, and the development will be developed within 2 phases, with phase 1 being on the north side of New Brownsville, consisting of lots 1 through 27, and then phase 2 will be on the southern side of New Brownsville, consisting of lots 28 through 42. The applicant proposes that on the north side of New Brownsville, those lots will conform with the standard RS-15 development requirements, meaning all those lots will meet or exceed 15,000 square feet. The southern portion, which will be phase 2 on the south side of New Brownsville Road, will have more of your smaller lots, which is why this is considered to be a planned unit development. These lots will be smaller and the setbacks will be different. So with that being said, this application was reviewed by the Planning Commission at their August 1st meeting, and it comes to you with a favorable recommendation.
Director Taylor, there had been some discussion in social media and in a couple of letters that I received regarding the possibility of apartments. There are no apartments in this development, are there?
No, sir. We actually saw the posting of that as well, and my best guess is it was a deep fake, but I'm not sure where that information came from.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board before we go to the audience? All right, thank you. At this time, we will ask if there's anyone here representing Joyce's Gardens, PUD. Did you want to? You don't have to speak. Just stand. Let us know that you're here. And oh, okay. Is there anyone representing that development? Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Sure. My name is Matthew Wissinger, and I'm from Denver, Colorado, actually. Just flew in this afternoon. I am here with my uncle, Gary Bloom, who is representing me in this transaction here in Bartlett. It's truly my first development. I am a Denver native, but I can't afford to develop up in Denver because it's so expensive. And Uncle Gary got me introduced to Bartlett and asked me would I be interested in doing this. And you know what? I am very excited to follow in my uncle's footsteps up here in Bartlett. So I'm grateful for you guys to at least think about what we're doing here. And it is my honor. Joyce's Garden is actually named after my mom, Uncle Gary's sister. And you know what? Uncle Gary's the patriarch of our family. And you know what? I just want to live up and walk in his footsteps and try to live up to his goals. And so, again, what we want to do with Joyce's Gardens is just continue on what's going on in Bartlett. Single-family houses for sale, no apartments. And I'm just excited about the future working with the city of Bartlett.
All right, thank you. At this time, it would be appropriate for anyone wishing to speak in favor of Resolution 28-22 to come forward. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Seeing no one coming forward, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition? All right, if you will come forward Remember that you have 3 minutes. You will be on a timer, and we'll ask you to have a seat at the end of 3 minutes if you're not finished before that. If you would come and give us your name and address, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Woodard. I'm at 4761 Artie Road. Let me catch my breath for just a minute here because I did not write anything. I came in to listen, but I have questions. And I do thank you for wanting to really do well for your family. And Uncle, God bless you. Look like you've really planted some really good roots. And that's what we need nowadays. I thank God for this opportunity. I live over there, and the mayor and I, we know each other. The city of Bartlett, I know the city of Bartlett well. I'm very proud to live here, but I'm concerned for our city, sir. And I thank God you're all the way from Colorado, and I'm sure they got their issues too. We have ours. And I noticed that we got larger lots on one side than the side that's closest to me and my neighbors. The area, the south side, is closer to the older side. And I'm concerned, will those houses come up as rental properties, or are they smaller for, let's say, better, easier to own homes? What's the real reason for having two different size lots in that area?
If we'll allow them to answer those questions,
Okay.
But in order to use your 3 minutes, you don't want them talking.
Right.
So if you have
And
other
that's fine.
questions,
And
please
I
ask that, and then
appreciate
we can have them answer it.
Thank you. And, I would like to know why are we talking about two different sides of lot space when there's lot space on the north side for, I guess, the larger home or whatever, I don't know. So that's one of my questions. And it's not that I don't want to see development. Change is inevitable. It's going to come regardless to what. But I would like to know if the change that's coming that way going to include our area as well. You all being developers, are you willing to put something into our neighborhood on our side to make us look as great as your new side?
Y'all might ought to
Thank
move
you.
up here and answer her questions as fast as possible.
Wait, Bubba. It's her 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm
Wait,
finished,
wasn't you
sir.
going? Okay, you'll take.
I am finished, Mayor. Thank you.
All right.
And that's all, sir.
All right.
I wasn't
thank
doing to be mean. I was making sure they would answer you.
No.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Now, we'll let you guys answer the questions at the end, all right? So just kind of keep up with the questions that are being answered. Others, I know we have 2 or 3 more. Yes, ma'am. Give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Eileen Wilkes. I live at 6753 Rainer Creek Drive, the backside of Rockyford, what was once Deadland. My questions are, first off, in doing research on your company, I noticed that you are primarily a leasing and property management company. There are several different LLCs listed within the associates throughout the United States. And my question in reference to that gentlelady was, since your company, according to most of the information that I could find online, has to deal with lease-to-own property management rental organizations, how can we be guaranteed that they will be owner-occupied properties, not rentals, not devaluing our area? That's my first question. Second question is, it's a statement. For 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, we were transferred from our home, which we built in Rockyford in '98, to Alabama. We did not sell our home for the simple reason that we wanted to move back to Bartlett because we love Bartlett. I mean, we moved here from Atlanta, so we loved it here. And our experience in Birmingham, actually in a very, very nice golf community, was a property development similar to yours. There were the magnificent mansions at the front of the neighborhood. We lived in the Poe section, the $300,000 to $400,000 houses. And then these other areas came in behind us. It brought in crime, lack of safety for children, probably 78% rental occupancy, not owner occupancy, rental occupancy. And that is our main fear. We don't want our property values to go down. We've been very fortunate in Bartlett that we have such a wonderful community and a great organization that has maintained the value of our area. And I have family in Denver and Fort Collins and Colorado Springs, so I know the market area. That's why I was able to research you, because I have friends out there. Anyway, I wonder why. I know that there was some regulation, or this is the purpose of lowering the lot size south of New Brownsville, because at one time, all of the properties that were supposed to be north of Old Brownsville were supposed to be one standard size. Is it possible within your organization to change those smaller properties to larger properties, or is it because of the ground issues, the drainage? And we have a Bartlett drain in our yard, so I know how well y'all maintain them, so that's no problem in that sense. But my third one is, was Bartlett aware of what this company and this entity in Colorado does throughout the United States when they make the decision?
I'm sorry, that's your time. Thank you. All right.
Good evening. I'm Sam LaCastro, 6480 Rainer Creek. And like the others, our concern is the size of houses. Are they going to look as the present houses look? 1, 2-car garage. What kind of plans are they in the square footage? I don't know square feet, but what size lot acreage-wise are we talking about? Quarter acre, half acre? I think that's about, is that it?
Okay.
That'll take care of us.
All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Emily Winter. I live at 4935 Spring Tree. We have been in Rockyford for about a year. Part of the enjoyment of Rockyford is the fact that there is so much owner occupancy. Thank you for bringing that up. When we first moved to the area, we were in Memphis, and our dream was to live in Rockyford. We finally accomplished that last year. Couple questions that I have regarding city services. Has there been a survey on the water and sewer lines? Bringing in 42 new single-family units is going to put a lot of extra pressure on city services, and has the research been done to see if the area can sustain an additional 42 single-family units? The social media post regarding the apartments, I think it's in the city's best interest to do their due diligence and get a revised copy so that apartments is removed from that plan, so that it specifically states single-family units, so that there isn't any problems in the future should the plans shift to non-single-family units. I don't know if that's possible, but that would be my recommendation. The other thing is property value. My house has a pool, a very nice gunite pool, and it backs up to lot 5 on the proposal. When they start flattening that land, taking down the trees, bringing in all that extra machinery, what protection is my lot going to have from all of that extra construction traffic? And how am I going to be protected as a current owner should this pass? So I guess I'm not really for or against, but I do have some concerns that haven't really been addressed on a public platform. So okay. I yield the rest of my time.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. We'll conclude the public hearing. I will ask you all, after we have a second public hearing, and I'll ask you, as we take your item up again, to be thinking about the answers to those 4 individuals, please. Our next public hearing is a Resolution 29-22. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 29-22, a resolution approving a special use permit to allow a tattoo and body piercing establishment to be located at 2965 North Germantown Road, Suites 129 and 130, within the CH Highway Business Zoning District.
Director?
The owners of Hypnotize Inc. Art Collective are requesting a special use permit for the operation of a tattoo and body piercing establishment at 2965 North Germantown Road, Suite 129 and 130. This property is located within the CH Highway Business Zoning District. According to Article 5, Chart 1 of the Bartlett Zoning Ordinance, a special use permit is required in the CH zoning district to operate a tattoo and body piercing establishment. The uses surrounding this proposed location include car dealerships, retail shops, a hotel, offices, restaurants, a gas station, and convenience stores. The Planning Commission reviewed this request at their August 1st meeting, and it comes to you with a favorable recommendation for approval, but with an additional condition that this business closes at midnight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone here representing the tattoo parlor? Yes. Mm-hmm. If you will give us your name and address for the record.
Yes. My name is Selena Alvarado. I'm a native to Los Angeles, California, but I've lived over half my life in Tennessee, so Memphis, Cordova, Bartlett. And I really just want to bring something to the community that I see a lot of people doing wrong. And I want to do that without people having to leave outside of the area to do so.
Okay. Thank you. And you're good with the midnight closing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I made sure to tell everyone of my team that we would be stopping any walk-in traffic around 8 or 9 p.m. just to be sure that we adhere to that.
Okay, thank you.
Did you state your address?
I'm at 711 Cedar Break Drive. Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. This is a public hearing, and at this time, we will again remind you that you can speak up to 3 minutes, either in favor or in opposition, and up to 20 minutes for each side. So anyone wishing to speak in favor of Resolution 29-22 should come forward at this time. Will give us your name and address for the record.
I'm sorry, I have laryngitis, but I will try.
Okay.
My name is Connie Waters. We are at 4890 Rivercrest Lane. We've lived there for 10 years. Before that, we were in Oak Forest. Before that, we were in my entire life in Scenic Hills in Raleigh. We have an extended time in this area. Obviously, since birth. I served the United Methodist Church in this area for 15 years as a pastor. I served 5 years in Shelby County schools and at youth villages as a teacher in art. And I am now a tattoo artist. I would like to speak for this dear lady because she has always been so mature for her age. And I'm quite proud of everything she's accomplished. She's very much self-made. I think she would be a benefit to our community. And when she says she's going to do things right, she means it. Her heart is with those who need tattoos to reconstruct surgery wounds, to help those who want to memorialize their loved ones. This isn't going to be something that will detract from our communities, and she's not going to sneak in any kids under 18. She'd tell them to go call their mama. So I think she would do everything very right, and I think it would be a good opportunity for us to offer a service, and maybe some of us that aren't as inclined might even choose to get a tattoo. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor should come forward at this time. All right. Seeing no one else coming forward in favor, anyone wishing to speak in opposition should come forward.
My name is Olena Petrova, 5034 Trent Cove, Bartlett. The question that I have about the tattoo shop specifically is, has anyone looked into any kind of studies of increased criminal activity associated with tattoo parlors? And if so, what are they? And if there is any correlation with criminal activity potentially, with the property being located close to Wolf Chase area and with so many recent, with such an increase in crime in Wolf Chase area specifically, could it potentially get into the Bartlett side? And how is the city going to mitigate any of those concerns?
All right, thank you. And we will answer that question in just a little bit. Anyone else?
Stephanie Woodard, 4761 Artie Road, Bartlett, Tennessee. I have a couple of questions. And did you say you're from LA? Yes. Did you own a tattoo parlor there?
No, I actually started my career here in Tennessee.
Okay. Is it required by state that everyone that works in a tattoo parlor is certified, licensed, bonded, or whatsoever? And are there any stricter laws or regulations about people loitering around tattoo parlors and things of that nature? 2 questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we adjourn the public hearing on Resolution 29-22, and we will take up unfinished business. The first item is Resolution 28-22, and we had 4 questions that were asked of the developer. 4 people asking several questions on 28-22, and if you would at this time, if you could try to answer some of those for us. For instance, the first one was difference in sizes of the lot versus sizes in houses. You can both come up there.
The first question I'd like to address is,
if you will, look at us, because you're
the lady with she did her research on my company for sure. I'm very impressed with that. But we are definitely building out the subdivision for resale. We are not looking for rentals. Economically, that just doesn't make sense for us. All right, so I could tell you. Again, we named the subdivision after my mom. I want to be the first subdivision that I'm very proud about, and something that the people and the neighbors would be proud about in Bartlett.
All right. And then you answered about the owner-occupied. What about the size differences in the lots and houses?
Yeah. A few years ago, I had a partner, and we developed Old Bartlett Village, and there are no for sale signs in Old Bartlett Village. There are people clamoring to get in there because they're nice size houses on small lots. Same thing with Sterling Place on out in Lakeland. And so that's the reason that we've decided they're actually separate. They're not adjoining anything else. But they will be at least 1,800 square feet. And when I did Old Bartlett Village, someone, maybe you were on the committee at that time, they maybe put a point in the middle of the subdivision, 1,000 feet all the way around. And I was building houses in Old Bartlett Village that were bigger than any of the houses that we touched. So we don't plan on building small houses. In fact, the price of the lots will dictate pretty much the size of the houses. And in terms of on the north side, the people that live over there now, all of that wasn't developed at one time. They were developed in phases. And so this is just the next phase of that. And we have no intention on building smaller houses. We have no intention on leasing the houses that are built there.
Okay. And the house size and lot size, a couple of them ask about that. If I could get somebody from engineering, John, or Rick's right here. The question about water and sewer.
Sure. The question on water is, as part of the Old Brownsville Road project, we're putting in a very large main that will run along the frontage of this, especially the properties on the south side and where the roads tie in. So we'll get interconnectivity between that big main. It's either a 12 or a 16, but it's a large main which will provide both fire protection as well as domestic water for the houses that are there. As part of the land development process, the developer will be extending sewers into the area, and there is capacity in the downstream area to carry that as well as at the plant.
And at the sewer, so much has been talked about sewer in Bartlett. Would you just talk about the fact that that particular development is on the north side of the ridge?
Right. Yes, we have a contract with Memphis to the area to the south, which is a moratorium in the Fletcher Creek Basin. This all goes to the Loosahatchee River area to the north, and it sewers up that way to our plant that we control, that particular plant, and there is capacity in that plant, and we're looking for development to occur that would provide service by that plant. So there's capacity both in the transportation to get it there system as well as in the plant itself to treat it before it goes to the river.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chief Cox, the question over crime in that area.
Well, we would have to do some research to do some data on that, which we haven't done, but we can. But we do have the manpower and the districts and the patrol cars to take care of that area. So we would make sure that we handle them accordingly. But as far as the data goes today, I wouldn't have those statistics.
Right. But we do keep statistics on a regular basis, and we've seen crime doing what?
Yes or no. Our crime rate in City of Bartlett has maintained low. It hasn't raised, and it's maintaining well over in that area. So I don't see it as being a problem, but we'll make sure it don't.
Right. All right. Thank you. I think, did you catch any others that I missed?
There was
No.
concerned about property.
Yeah, there was the lady that was concerned about her pool and the damage as construction goes on. I don't know how we address that.
Oh, yes, I see. Right. So, Rick, would you talk about, no, I'm sorry, Jim. Where's Jim? Would you come talk about what we do to make sure that during the construction of this it wouldn't have an impact on other people?
Good evening. Typically when they start breaking ground and so forth, we require that there be a water supply there to keep and minimize the amount of dust and debris that would be flying in the air. That's predominantly what it is that we require.
And what about any rainwater? How is that resolved?
That's handled by silt fence. They're required to put silt fence around the downstream so it's not flowing into others' property.
Okay. Thank you. I believe that's all. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to the board. We have this item, Resolution 28-22. Can we get it on the floor for discussion?
I move we approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. This does come with a favorable recommendation by the Planning Commission, who went even more deep in their discussion in their meeting about this as well. So are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Alderman Simmons.
Yeah, let me ask a question about people had asked me this last couple of weeks. Are these people, when they start building in there, do they have to have three this, three that?
I'm not sure what the question is.
You got, just like the one in Franklin. Franklin, you got sometimes a three, it's a three-story.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a grocery store on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one is?
Right, this is not a mixed use, so this would just be single-family dwellings.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
There you go.
Yeah,
Alderman Quinn?
Yes, I have a question about Condition 6, about the applicant must attach the homeowners association bylaws. And I'd just like to know if the applicant is going to write the bylaws, and if we could put a condition in there about rentals.
Can you come up to the microphone and talk about the, what's that called?
We have engaged Attorney Mike Murphy, to write the conditions for the homeowners association.
That'll be the covenants.
Right.
Right. And in the covenants, does it speak to rental properties on this particular?
There will not be any rental property.
It will state that in the covenants.
We can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, so you hadn't planned on not doing it, but you can do it. You're saying you can do it? You just had not planned on it?
We can do it.
Okay. Can you make any exceptions for, like military families or people who have a death in a family they're trying to settle the estate or anything like that?
You have to be careful with that, because one of the people who just had a question said she moved to Atlanta.
Yes.
What did she do with her house during that period of time? Imagine she leased it.
Yes.
So.
I was asking for an exclusion.
Yeah.
Yes.
There she is back there.
Yeah.
So I think single-family residential property means there's several things you can do with it. But we're not indicating that we're building these to lease. We're building these, we're not even building them. We're developing the land for a builder to build a house that somebody can live in.
Well, my question was not whether you were doing that. It's, if you put them up for sale, are you going to sell them to a rental company?
We're not.
Okay.
I believe they said that the covenants would say the homes had to be owner occupied. Is that correct?
Well, it doesn't say that in the conditions.
Well, but we're talking about the covenants of his homeowners association now.
We haven't seen
Will you
that.
include in the covenants for your homeowner association that the homes are owner occupied?
We can do that, yes, sir.
Then I think that takes care of my issue.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Any others? Alderman Pleasant?
Would that put it would protect, have your homeowners in there. Would that in some way, somebody invest $300,000 or $400,000, $500,000, and then something happened in their family, and then they had to move for some legitimate reason,
Well, I think that's what Alderman Quinn was allowing, is that the covenants would be written in a way that the intention is for owner occupied, but that there could be some conditions that would be exceptions to that, like had to move because of a job in the military. I believe that's what you had in mind.
Yes, sir. Some HOAs have that in there where you come before the board and you can ask for ask for mercy for the association, in your dire straits.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's what was worrying me, because anything can happen,
Right, oh, yes.
you wouldn't dream of right now. But I think he'd mentioned it would kind of be difficult, or would that be a problem?
Mr. President, what we have in Old Bartlett Village is wording like you just talked about.
Yeah.
But if you have something that's different from that, you go before the board.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Thank you very much. All right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, debate, questions?
Am I allowed to add an amendment to a motion for the amendment about the rentals? Or
you can offer an amendment, yes.
Okay. So I'd like to offer an amendment where the HOA charter will not allow rentals, except under the circumstances of the board. And it needs to be written in a better legal manner than that. But
okay.
That makes sense. Thank you.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
You making the
motion? Yes.
Explain the motion.
Where they will not allow rentals in the homeowners association except if the board allows someone under certain special circumstances.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? All right. If not, we are on the amendment. Is there a... go ahead.
That's the question. Is that a unanimous vote by the board or percentage of the board?
You asking? I'm sorry. I thought you meant this board. It would be under the standard bylaws.
Standard bylaws state different things.
I believe it's 75%. Well, it depends on the size of the board, because from my understanding, some HOAs only have 2 people on the board, and some people have 6 or 8. So that would be in the bylaws. You want to have a 75% vote, or are we allowed to get that far into that?
Mr. McKinney?
Yeah, the bylaws
would you turn your mic on, please?
I just didn't know how far down we're able to reach into this.
The bylaws would address that, and I don't know that any would say unanimous. I'm not sure that that's ever going to happen. Yeah. Normally, it's a majority. It could be 2/3. It could be 3/4. It depends upon the particular bylaws of that HOA.
I just wanted to ask that question.
All right.
Well, then I got another question.
All right.
If he's told me he would include in these covenants that the homes had to be owner-occupied, if that's the case, what Alderman Quinn's asking for doesn't apply. It's got to go one way or the other. If they've got to be owner-occupied, they can't rent them. And I thought the controversy we've had in our city and what we've heard from citizen after citizen is that we got too many leased homes now. If they're owner-occupied, they can't be leased. And I propose that they include that in the covenants for this. And if that requires amendment, then I make that amendment.
Well, there is an amendment on the floor.
Okay.
And that amendment allows for certain situations that may arise. Right? All right. Anything else? We have a proper motion and second. This is on the amendment. The amendment will require that, Madam Clerk, how are you going to write that up?
The amendment is for owner-occupied with conditions.
For exceptions?
Yes.
Under hardship exceptions?
Exceptions to go before the board.
Okay. All right. That's the motion before you. At this time, I will ask you on the amendment to go to your device and cast your vote on the amendment.
Mayor, can I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
Does that not change what Jack brought up? Does that not really change the need for the...
Well, we have to do this amendment first, and if it fails, then, or even if it passes, then he can present his amendment.
Okay. What do you think, Alderman Quinn?
Well, I mean, I was yielding to Mr. McKinney to make sure. I didn't know how far down we could reach into this, but I feel like an HOA board made up of homeowners would be the best ones to make that decision about their neighborhood, because they'll know these neighbors who get transferred by the military or have a death in the family or and have to settle someone's estate or something like that. So I was kind of deferring to the trust of the people in that neighborhood.
All right. So at this time, please go to your device. You have a proper motion and second. Go to your device and cast your vote. All right. We have 4 ayes and 2 nays. The amendment passes. Now, is there another amendment?
Well, I would think my amendment just got overruled.
I would think so.
So now they're in another amendment.
All right. All right. Now, on the motion, we have on the motion itself, as amended, you will now go to your device and cast your vote on the motion as amended. As soon as she gets it up there.
I forgot who the first ones was Jack and Mandy. Okay.
All right. If you would, go to your device now and cast your vote on Resolution 28-22 as amended. The Resolution 28-22 passes as amended. Thank you. Next item, Madam Clerk, on the agenda, Resolution 2922, which she has previously read into the record, and you heard the questions about that. There was a question about knowing if it closed. The other one, Chief, was about whether we know anything about crime in regards to tattoo parlors.
Well, I think when it comes to the tattoo business, it's very popular these days, which they do have a lot of traffic, but I wouldn't think it would increase the crime. We do have business cars that will be checking on that to make sure that nobody's gathering in the parking lots or causing a disturbance in those areas. So we'll keep a close eye on that.
All right. And also the loitering question, you would be checking on that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll make sure that nobody's loitering in the parking lots, as we do all of our business lots, and also that nobody's there after those hours. So, as far as the parking lot goes.
All right. And the applicant, are you going to be putting any kind of signage stating no loitering?
Oh, absolutely. I'll put in any signage necessary to get the point across. And as far as the questions, if I may answer at the moment. So I know that there was a bit of a concern about, where I'm from. But I moved here before I even finished high school. So I went to the University of Memphis. I studied engineering technology until I was about 22. Decided to take a chance on my passion, and I was able to get my license within a year. As far as my credentials, I've been a licensed tattoo artist for 6 years, and I was a licensed apprentice for the year that it was required by the health department to be. Also, it absolutely is required for everybody to work or practice in the tattoo shop to be licensed, including the apprentices. So no apprentices will be allowed to even start learning or drawing in my tattoo shop without having a signed document from the health department.
Okay. Thank you. That was the other question. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
All right. This item now... Yes,
Also, I would like to also say that as a licensed tattoo artist, you are legally a private contractor, so you are able to deny any person that you prefer from getting any kind of services done. And doing this as long as I have, and mind you, the least or the less time licensed person in my shop is of 2 years, I think going on 3. So we all have experience in turning away people who seem like drug addicts, who seem like they are gang related, and we have not practiced on any persons of such caliber. So I just like to say too that we will not be letting anybody and everybody in our studio, and that's part of how we can do our part in reducing the crime.
Thank you. All right, we have Resolution 2922. Can we get it on the floor, please?
Move we approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
And a second. Is there any discussion on this? Alderman Simmons?
You know, this, I think about the smoke shop that me and Kevin was looking at it because there was some opposition around it. And it has come out. Now, she's going to start a tattoo deal. You know, what's she going to have? Is it going to be anything, food, beverage, or something like that? I mean, they're it's right along that edge, and you know, we need it on both sides of the track.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alderman Young?
At the Planning Commission, we talked about the cigar bar, which is what I think you're talking about, and the drinking that was going to be allowed, the live music, all that. We were assured from this young lady that none of that would take place, and we went to a great deal of detail to ensure that wouldn't, and I feel very comfortable with what she intends to do, and even though I probably won't be a customer.
I don't know.
He said probably.
Right.
I just want everybody to know that.
Mayor?
Yeah.
I've seen that fake hair. It doesn't look that good.
I'd also like to add, you know, tattoo shops in general don't usually have alcohol in them and stuff like that.
I don't know.
I have frequented one before, so I can assure you that they don't usually have drinking. They're not supposed to by law to even put tattoos on you if you've had alcohol in you. And I know there's always cases where they have, but I can tell you this. I also heard from some of the staff at Bartlett that were at that Planning Commission meeting, because I was unable to make it, that she did a good job of explaining on what she does, even with cancer patients. My understanding, and she can shake her head yes or no, but she will also have piercings there, like ear piercings and they're actually safer because they are done by the health inspection to go and get ear piercings there than at somewhere like Claire's or Walmart or something like that, because they are certified. So it's actually a better place to go and cleaner and safer for even children to get ear piercings at than some of the other places you go.
All right. Anyone else? Seeing no one else seeking to be recognized, we will go to Resolution 29-22. If you would, go to your device and cast your votes, please. Resolution 29-22 passes. Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. Anyone on this board can remove any item for separate discussion. Is there any item anyone wishes to remove? If not, Madam Clerk, will you read those in the record, please?
Item 1, reschedule the Tuesday, November 8th Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting to Monday, November 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Item 2, dispense with the second Board of Mayor and Alderman meetings in November and December. Item 3, Treasurer's Report for June 2022.
What's the will of the body?
Move to approve.
Have a motion and a second. This is not debatable, so if you will, go to your device and cast your vote on the consent agenda. Consent agenda passes. Next up, new business. Madam Clerk, item 1.
Set a public hearing for October 25th, 2022 for Resolution 34-22, a resolution approving a special use permit to allow a general automobile repair establishment to be located at 5798 Ferguson Road within the I.O. Wholesale and Warehouse Zoning District.
This is for the purpose of setting the public hearing only. With that in mind, if we can get this item on the floor, please.
Move we approve and set the public hearing for October 25th.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on setting it on that date? If not, we have a proper motion and second. If you would, go to your device and cast your vote on the public hearing date. Public hearing for Resolution 34-22 passes. Item 2 under new business is Mike Bollinger, and he wants to present his season, and he knows that he should do it in a timely fashion. And by the way, he is getting his knee fixed, Lord willing, on Thursday, so keep him in your prayers.
And every time you jump, you hear that music like Lee Majors, you know. And well, I'm Michael Bollinger. I'm the director of the Bartlett Performing Arts Center at 7474 Over Creek Lane here in Bartlett. First, thank you for the time tonight, guys. Second, thank you for all the work you do for the city of Bartlett. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Third, and they didn't even pay me to say that. And third, thank you for your support of the Bartlett Performing Arts Center, because that's one of the many things that makes the city of Bartlett unique. Many communities around the country would love to have their own performing arts center. You'll see in just a minute as I go along with the help of our city clerk, I'm going to run through all of the artists fairly quickly. We're opening up, this is our 24th season. That's remarkable. We're opening up on the 7th of October with country and Americana legend Rodney Crowell. And he's just remarkable. He's won 2 Grammys, 2 CMAs, 6 Americana awards, and had 15 #1 hits. And we had him scheduled twice before, and he got kicked down the road twice because of COVID. He's going to be an excellent performance. The end of the month of October, we have Departure, the Journey tribute band. And a few years ago, I started adding tribute bands into the mix. And I'm very careful with them because there are a lot of really bad tribute bands. And I try to get the 2 things that you need is A, exceptional musicians, and B, I like the ones that don't try to act like, hello, I'm Paul. Well, we know you're not Paul McCartney. Stop it, you know. But these are just great musicians. They'll be performing all of Journey's hits like Any Way You Want It, Open Arms, Don't Stop Believin', Faithfully, Big Wheel Keeps on Turning. Early November, we have Tony Jackson. Tony Jackson was here about 4 seasons ago, and we had a lot of requests to bring him back, so we did. He is an up-and-coming country artist. He plays a lot at the Grand Ole Opry, and what makes him unusual is he's a black country singer. And the only reason I bring that up is there aren't a lot of African-American country singers, and though he's very, very old school. How he first came to prominence was George Jones's song, The Grand Tour, and it got 6 million hits on YouTube. And also, the Rolling Stone magazine about a year ago had a little article that said 10 country songs you need to hear right now, and he was one of the 10 for his song Country Road, not John Denver Country Road. Also in November, we have a great family show called Pinkalicious. It's based on the famous book as well as an NPR television show. It'd be a great thing. It's a musical to share with your family. We have 3 Christmas holiday-y kind of shows. We have Merry Christmas, Darling, The Carpenters, and this young lady also was here about 4 years ago. She doesn't try to be Karen Carpenter, but if you close your eyes, you're going to swear it's Karen Carpenter. She sings all, full band, she sings all the Carpenter hits, and then of course they had an album called Merry Christmas, Darling. So you're going to get your fix of the Carpenters and your fix for Christmas. The famous movie with Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life. We're doing a live stage production of it at Christmas for performances. You'll see the dates. We're also doing the Nutcracker, which is a partnership with a Bartlett dance company called Esprit de Corps Dance. So that ought to be enough to get you in a smiling for the holidays. Then after the first of the year, I almost didn't do it because I thought it sounded just too corny. But the first performance already sold out, and we've already added a second performance for January for Bee Gees Gold. So it's all of the Bee Gees hits. You Had 'Em in a Broken Heart, Night Fever, Too Much Heaven, How Deep Is Your Love, Staying Alive, and Mr. Brown's favorite, You Should Be Dancing. And he's actually got tickets to that show, I'm telling you. And also, the first show is sold out. We've added a second show. I think I said that to that. Professor Wow and his Unbelievable Science Show is also a great family show. This guy is highly entertaining, uses all kinds of visuals that are really fun to teach science to kids, and he brings a lot of kids up on stage. So if you want your kids to have fun and learn something, that would be it. We have Bravo Amici, which are remarkable. Bravo and Amici, one of them's from New Zealand and one of them's from London. Two of them are from New York City. They have these powerhouse voices, and their concert is like part classical, part Broadway, part popular music. And it has an Elvis connection. And what the Elvis connection is, about 20 years ago, Jeff Sewell, he is from New Zealand, he happened to be in touring with the choir in Memphis, and he went to go see Graceland. And you know, when you go through Graceland, I haven't done it for years, but at Elvis's grave, they have playing I Did It My Way. And he said, I had an epiphany. I decided that's what I should do for a living, is be an entertainer and being a singer. And that's what he's done for a living. He performs all over the world. Then every year we bring in an Irish band, and they're very popular. I bring in a different one every year. The one that's coming in this year is called Dervish. They are exceptional. Our youth theater production is a musical. It was a Broadway musical called Big Fish, based on the Tim Burton movie. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. We have Junior Brown, who is highly entertaining. And some of his songs are Highway Patrol, Venom Wearing Denim, and my favorite, My Wife Thinks You're Dead. And at any rate, Junior is just, he also got mentioned in Rolling Stone, and Rolling Stone said 50 country albums that rock and rollers need to hear now. He was one of the 50. We have a partnership with Bartlett Community Concert Band. We have the High Road. The High Road is this all-female group. It's sort of like bluegrass meets country meets gospel. They're going to be here in the spring, and they only do gospel music. We have this series called 901 Notes, which features they're great musicians right here in Memphis. So this year is going to feature two musicians, Bailey Bigger out of Marion, Arkansas, and Star and Micey out of Memphis, Tennessee. We have another country legend, Dina Carter. She is not related to the famous Carter family, but she had many, many number one hits, and her biggest one was probably Strawberry Wine. She'll be here in the spring. And then closing out the spring season is All About Joel, the music of Billy Joel. This guy also had an epiphany. When he was 10 years old, his dad took him to a Billy Joel concert, and he said, that's what I want to do for a living. And he taught himself piano, and that's what he does for a living. And then the last thing that I want to mention is on the 21st of October, we have a new partnership with the Tennessee Shakespeare Company. And instead of music by the lake like I have in the spring, we're doing theater by the lake. So we're setting up a stage outside, and they're going to be performing the tragedy, Shakespeare's tragedy, Macbeth. It is a free theatrical production. There'll be food vendors, and if it works out, we're going to make it an annual event. And if it rains, come out anyway, because we'll just move it inside the theater. And that's it. But once again, I'm so pleased to be in Bartlett, so pleased to be the director of BPAC. This December marks my 6th year here, Mayor. I cannot believe that. And I'm looking really forward to making the 25th anniversary season next year a wonderful one. So thank you for your time, and hopefully some of our citizens watching at home want to get tickets, and you can go to bpac.org. All right?
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, guys, very, very much.
That's the conclusion of our regular business. It is our tradition to allow anyone to speak to this board on any subject for up to 3 minutes. Before we do that, is anyone on the board that has anything they'd like to share?
I have something real quick. I can't believe he left this out, but I believe it's for 5 shows. You can get 25% off. Use Pick 5 as a code.
Yeah, we have 23 shows this season, not performances. We have more performances. We have 23 different shows, and if you pick just 5, you'll get, or more, you'll get 25% off of your purchase, and that's like a great deal.
He is good.
All right. All right. How about any of our directors? Anything you need to bring to us? If not, then we'll go to the general audience. Anyone wishing to speak to this board should come forward at this time. If you will, give us your name and address, and you have your 3 minutes.
Guess the mic is on. Yes, thank you. I'm Paul Kaiser, 3323 Marcus Cove, Bartlett, Tennessee, 38134. I'll make this brief. I'm running for Bartlett Alderman, position 3. I've been a 30-year resident of Bartlett, Tennessee. Married to Amy Kaiser. We've raised 2 children here in Bartlett, and a member of Bellevue Baptist Church. We have a farmers insurance agency. We opened as a franchise 29 years ago. Done that ever since. And also my volunteer service with Bartlett includes Bartlett Planning Commission, 4 years as chairman, 4 years as vice chair, Bartlett Zoning Appeals Board, the Bartlett Historic Commission, and also the Bartlett Parks and Recreation Board. Look forward to continuing to serve Bartlett in the future, and request and hope that you'll vote Paul Kaiser is Bartlett position, Alderman position 3. And thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one else coming forward, this being the conclusion of our regular business, this meeting stands adjourned.